manage it.
I've not menstruated before, so I can't.
You can't relate.
I can't relate.
When you get a daughter.
I've not menstruated before, so I can't relate.
When you get a daughter.
But I like that they are highlighting a very
explain it to you.
important subject.
Yeah.
Early this month, the government also committed to their
The
free
past that they were
part.
donating that they were throwing up in the air.
Yeah, I didn't see that one.
You saw it.
didn't
You are
see.
refusing to see, but you saw
I
it.
didn't see.
Throwing the pads up in the air.
Who was
like
throwing the parts in the air?
the president and
his-
his people. After they launched it, they threw the pads up in the air.
Why?
Like, really? Why are you throwing it up in the air?
Me, mom, I didn't see.
Me, I saw.
So I can't
and I'm
see.
sure all our viewers saw. Didn't you see it? You saw it, did you not see? They saw it.
Well,
You saw it, right?
Assuming it's even the case, right? What is wrong with throwing a part
Why are you throwing the pad up in the
to
air?
celebrate
Show
a
it to the
milestone?
camera. Show, you see how we do our adverts. Secure part. Yes, parts. See, show it to the camera, but throw it up in the air. You know what we are going through every month? Our cycle.
Shout outs to
One day we'll talk about it here on the show.
shout
We have a
outs
health
to, shout outs
segment
to
on a
the
Sunday.
government, right? Particularly the vice president, who we are being told spearheaded this really important,
We appreciate it.
I'm only talking about it because this Girls Branch event is
Yeah.
highlighting menstrual health
Yeah.
and also trying to demystify some of the
without
stereotypes around
barriers,
it.
yeah.
Right? And government has shown commitment. They talked about it during their campaign, and it's good to see that they backed it up with their actions, right? So free sanitary pads for school children, female school children. That's great. So the vice president, who we are told spearheaded this, the gender minister, Agnes Namomolate, she had a really interesting interview with Ghana Weekend. It's on socials. You can go and see for
check
yourself.
it out.
She talks about this policy as well. So it's really, 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 really great.
Okay, we have Tote Therapy. Unleash creativity and healing at Art Therapy Collective, May 10th, 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Palm Moment Asylum Down Accra. Transformative art experiences await. Join our vibrant
Do
community.
you know what totes, the slang, the meaning for totes in slang?
What is it?
I want to know what this is referring to.
I think they're just talking about the bags.
Oh,
You
the
know-
bags are called totes.
Yes. Those, I think they're made from cotton. So sometimes they can be plain or dyed in a specific color. And then if they're plain, you can make your own art on it.
That's shocking
So,
because
yeah, that's
when you
tote.
talk about totes in Gen Z parlance, it means something completely different.
Gen Z way.
Yeah.
Tote is a bag, simply
Yeah.
put. It's a bag. So go do some therapy, art therapy. I should tell you about the art show I went to yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, so a friend
Where?
of mine was showing art at East Legon, somewhere in East
Which
Legon.
friend?
He's called Kwame Obimpe.
Oh, okay.
And he was showing some of his art, him and another lady. And so they've taken, very nice pictures. They framed it and they were showing it and they were on sale. And it was interesting. Maybe one day we'll bring them into the studio so they can tell us about their art. But anyway, other things happening. Mixed Feelings Comedy Special. It says get ready for an unforgettable night of laughter. Join comedian Sam and your favorite entertaining sensation, Sam Kweku, and a host of Ghana's finest comedians for the Mixed Feelings Comedy Special, a night of pure humor, fun, and good vibes, happening today at Accra Ministries, 7 p.m. sharp, 100 cedis regular, 200 cedis VIP. The tickets are selling fast. So you better, is he happy and is he sad?
Both.
Both, okay. Mixed feelings, makes sense. You should have put an angry one, an anxiety one. Have you watched that cartoon? Oh, you should watch it. What's it called? So it has our feelings. There's a happy, there's a sad, there's an anxious, there's an angry, and it kind of just describes your feelings, what you're going through emotionally at certain times or certain ages in your life. It's very interesting. I'll find the title and I'll let you know about it, and then you can watch it. Bob Marley. Bob Marley night.
One love.
Yeah.
One love. Let's get together and be alright. Anybody want
One love.
all about the heart?
One heart.
Yes, get together and be alright. Hey, and get together and then what do you one love. Charlie, is the way they can enter the spirit, you know?
Yeah.
It comes from
next
deep
level.
within.
We'll be up here.
Yeah.
See that? You seen? That's how you say it.
Yeah,
Seen?
I'm not seeing it.
So we're having a celebration of life, man. At a reggae legend, nest, the Bob Marley, man.
Oh no, yeah. Have you been a member before?
I've been a member before, man.
Are you part of the fraternity?
At this point, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh.
Yo! Hey, one love.
One love.
One heart. Hey. Ajay.
Hey, hello.
Feel alright. Hey.
Are you sure you're not taking something?
Cho. And I will be.
Bob Marley is a legend.
Amazing. Thank you. Today we agree on one thing. We agree on who's a legend. I like that.
I need to get you checked. I don't know that is today.
I'm hyper. Eh? A friend of mine sent me the same thing. He's like, are you okay? Like, you're extremely excited this morning.
I think the birthday is still.
It's the birthday that's still, you know.
Yeah.
So, where's this happening? It's happening at. Hey.
I'll find it for you. Charlie, everybody know where they do their things, so
they all know.
Yeah, you just need to tell them that it's happening. They'll find the venue for you.
It's happening at Macavo Hotel in Aflo from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Yeah.
On
Macavo Hotel.
Macavo Hotel at Aflo from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. And those are the DJs on rotation, and Tough Twins are performing. And it's, you know, we're celebrating Bob Marley. All well and good. Oh, amazing. We almost forgot one thing. You remember we did a scripture for Mama?
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, as part of our family month, events.
Oh, yes. Someone sent me. The name of the cartoon is Inside Out.
Inside Out.
You should watch it.
Really?
I don't know if you like cartoons, but you like this one. It's about emotions. You'll like it. I love cartoons, so I enjoyed it. But you should watch it. You're laughing. You don't like cartoons.
Oh,
but
no,
you like
I watched it growing up, right? But
you can watch it with your niece or nephew and they'll enjoy it.
It was the way, Charlie, the economy didn't go right now.
What has the economy done? It's cartoons. Relax and enjoy it. I mean, life is too hard anyway, so this is a way to relax.
That's true, though.
Yeah,
that's
so
true.
Inside Out, you'll like it. I promise you. Yeah, so I was talking about a scripture for Mama.
Yeah.
And we have 5 winners, I believe.
Impressive.
And, pardon?
I'm saying impressive.
Yeah, we had 5 winners. And I think City is giving them something. So, yes, those are the winners that we're projecting right now. Genesis 15:15, you yourself will live to a ripe old age, die in peace, and be buried. Amen. Abraham Daku sent that, and his mom's name is Mrs. Salome Aivo. A scripture for Mama, Genesis 15:15. Okay, Proverbs 31:25. Strength and dignity are her clothing, and she laughs at the time to come. Eunice Nate sent that in, and Mama's name is Christiana Esidua Amponsa. Proverbs 31:10 to 31. Oh, that's long. Winnie Anderson. And her mom's name is Mama Happy Agbeme. I mean, there are stories that they wrote in addition to, you know.
It's what the story is like. The story is the story.
Yeah. So it's not just, you know, the scripture, but they also wrote why they chose the scripture and why it resonates with them and their mom. Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. Veronica Amega to send that into Margaret Agbenyo.
The average Ghanaian parent interpretation of Proverbs 22:6 is
to lash you. But to be frank with you, my mother never lashed us.
Really?
The way she will look at you.
It is worse than a kid.
I promise you.
Never a kid.
Never.
No slippers. No belt. No knocks. Hey,
it was my brother that received
and
one,
you turned out
and then
fine.
she went
so
too
then
far.
you are proof of the theory that the cane necessarily
is not.
Because
I feel like when you hit the child once, twice, 3 times, then they become like, well, after all, and then they become.
Charlie.
You don't think so?
Some belt.
You're stubborn.
Some belt. There's a way they can use the belt to reset to bring you back to a state of proper being.
Okay.
It's not a joke,
Really?
Stop. Yeah, so interesting.
We're
but
celebrating our
mothers
tomorrow, and so we're grateful to all our winners and all those who sent it in. Is this the last one? I think so. So yeah, a scripture for Mama. Thank you.
Veronica Amegache sent this
to
honor her mom, Margaret Agbenyo. So yeah,
they'll be winning some amazing prizes. So thank you. Let's go on a quick break, and when we come back, we have more for you as usual. Don't go away. Let's talk hemorrhoids. Hemorrhoids are normal structures located in the anus of all mammals.
But it is only man who suffers hemorrhoidal disease because of the erect posture we have assumed and the squatting that we do to empty our bowel. Hemorrhoids consist of a special type of blood vessels which fill with blood when we are moving our bowel and help to cushion the anus against the force of transmitting the stool. Afterwards, they empty their blood, collapse, help seal the anus to maintain continence. Over time, these vessels lose the elasticity of their walls, become dilated, permanently filled with blood, leading to congestion of the hemorrhoids. The symptoms of hemorrhoids are bleeding and prolapse of the hemorrhoids when passing stool, itching and feeling of warmth in the anus and anal discharge. Laser, ligature, and longo are the modern, minimally invasive, most effective and painless methods of treating hemorrhoids today.
Mwintaba Hospital, first Ghana Colorectal Center, in to serve a peculiar health need.
Welcome, it's Play to Aid.
Get ready for the game show where every play has a purpose. Welcome to Play to Aid, the only game show where your knowledge and skill don't just win you prizes, they help change lives.
What sport is considered the most popular in the world?
Football. Every point you earn goes toward real-world support, from school supplies to health kits, clean water to emergency relief. Play smart, play big, Play to Aid. Catch all the action, the drama, and the heat.
Most commonly spoken language in Brazil.
Portuguese. Play to Aid every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV.
Edna, let's begin.
The Play to Aid game show is proudly sponsored by Tank Palace, Giraffe Island, and VVIP.
Where politics meets power, where the tough questions are asked. Welcome to Face to Face. Every Tuesday at 9 p.m., join Umaru Sanda Amadou as he takes you face to face with the key players shaping the future of our nation.
I lost over $10 million at the trade fair.
You had a fight with the management of trade fair?
I don't have a fight with them. I just deplore the way they went about what they did.
Let's talk about the chief prosecutor of the state at the time that you were being prosecuted, Godfrey Yeboah-Dame, the Attorney General.
Yes. I think he was directed to jail us.
By who?
By the system.
Boku has been a failure for your government, though.
Can't be a failure.
You have not solved it.
No, you are not praising them, the previous government for solving Yendi, which was even a more difficult case.
It's quite obvious that from these votes, the people felt that let's just let you go.
So they were disappointed
in us.
You are essentially the worst government in the Fourth Republic.
I don't know how you are doing that. Based on the indicators.
Yes, based on the number of people who refuse to come and vote for you.
If that is your analysis, then why not?
No filter, no boundaries, just the truth behind the headlines. Deep, bold, and unflinching. Face to Face with Umaru Sanda Amadou airs on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. only on Channel 1 TV, where politics gets real.
Looking for the latest buzz in Ghana's entertainment world? Welcome to Ghana Weekend, your ultimate destination for all things creativity and entertainment.
Stay in the loop with breaking news, exclusive interviews, and then insider stories from your favorite creatives and stars. From music, movies, fashion and art, lifestyle and culture, Ghana Weekend brings it all together. Get a daily dose of entertainment, discover new talent, and never miss out on the creativity that defines our vibrant culture.
Stay connected with us across all platforms. Follow us on Instagram with the handle Ghana Weekend, on X Ghana Weekend, on TikTok Ghana Weekend, at Ghana Weekend TV on YouTube for the latest in entertainment, travel, and everything Ghana. Don't miss out. Join the Ghana Weekend family today. Ghana Weekend, where entertainment meets creativity. Visit GhanaWeekend.com now.
Too close to you, well, I'm tempted to stay. Oh no, me have to talk for you. Baby, call on the phone, more to see ya. Come over me, I'm telling my mom, you coming at me have to kiss you. Me won't fit tease you, me tell my show way. I tell you, lose control, wanna hold you down. Never gonna let you go, boy, I look too fine. Nah, man, make I feel too right. Can me on your tower. I give you everything, my boom boom mocho chemistry. Can you know your tower? A baby town your stay. Stay in my heart, stay in my mind, stay in my. Say may we come again, boy may we come again, yeah. Say may we again, a boom boom tonight. Say may we come again. Boy, may we come again, yeah. Say make we again. Boom, boom, tonight, yeah. I'll let you take the step. 'Cause I'm not thinking straight. And I'll let you take the lead. Just leave me on 'cause I can't concentrate. It's getting out of hand now. May I behold you? Me wanna feel you by me side, me boom boom, want you next, fit me. Me can't lie, me can't lie. You want me loving what we do, me can't lie, me can't lie. ANBP never fit me. You want me loving what we do, me can't lie, me can't lie. Me have to talk for you, baby, cup on the phone more if you see ya. Boy, come over me, I'm telling my mom, man. You coming at me have to kiss you. Me want to tease you. Me tell my show, hey. I tell you, lose control. I wanna hold you down. Never gonna let you go, boy, I look too fine. And I may make I feel too right. And me, you know, the old tower. I give you everything. My boom, boom, what your chemistry. Can hold you know the old tower. The baby town, you stay. Stay in my heart. Stay in my mind. Stay in my. Say may we come again. Boy, may we come again, yeah. Say may we again. Boom, boom, tonight. Say may we come again. Boy,
Amazing, Curv.
Thank you.
Is this your 10th up song?
Yeah, that's
So this 10th up?
Yes.
Wow, I just guessed, saw it on social media and I'm like, wow. How long have you been doing this for?
Well, I've been doing this for a while. It's been long, yeah.
It's been long. And how's the experience been over the years since you started this?
It's been quite challenging. Yeah. Very challenging.
What would you say is the most difficult aspect of, doing music, particularly in this part of town?
most
difficult? You know, a lot of the time you speak to upcoming musicians and they're like, you know, yeah, it's the passion is there, the talent is obviously there. I can see from some of the things you put on social media, but the support is not really there, right? They are used to already known faces within the industry, so much that it's difficult for people to go out of their way to support. Will you say same for you, or you've really had a smooth ride?
I've seen great musicians out there, and I feel it's so challenging to meet up with such great people.
For you, Afrobeats, right?
Yeah,
and
Afrobeat.
Afrofusion.
Yes, please.
You know, for the uninitiated, are you able to just tell us the difference? People are always confusing what it is. You know.
Well, it's like a mix of R&B and then soul and a little bit of, you know, let's say dancehall and all that. I'm quite versatile, so apart from that, I can, you know, write something anytime I get.
You write music too.
Yeah, right. I'm a songwriter.
Wow.
Yeah, so like anytime I find an interesting instrumental, I can just, you know, put something in it and then I'm good to go.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, 10th Up is your only single you put out, or there's other ones out there?
Yeah, there are other ones.
Which
out
other
there.
ones?
I have 3 a.m., which is about to be released, and others too.
So it's yet to be released?
Yes.
And others also yet to be released?
Yes.
So they are not out? So that means 10th Up is the only one out?
Yeah, 10th
But
Up is
the rest are in the pipeline?
Yes.
Interesting. Any EP out so far?
We're working on that.
Yeah, working on that.
Yes.
You know, we can't wait. We can't wait. But for those who are watching and are interested, where can they find your music? Any streaming platforms?
Well, they can find my music on IG. That's Curv_BG. And then on Facebook is Curv, and then capital B, capital G. Yeah. And then also,
I would want us to go, but just before we do that, you know, today is a big night in Ghana music. You know, that what is happening. I just want to put you on the spot a little bit, if that's okay. Right? Who are you hoping to be Artist of the Year? Is that a very tight spot to be?
Well, yeah, of
course.
I would like to reserve that.
You want to reserve that?
Yeah,
you know, but you should have opinions, right? I know musicians are very strong, opinionated people. You know, so you should have, you know, a preference for who you think has worked very well over the year or the year under review for each reason. Should or quite close?
No, I think they're all talented, but maybe there's just a little bit of, you know,
I'm giving you a very PR answer.
That's why
That's okay.
I just wish them the best. Yeah.
Interesting. I think King Promise has had a great year, right?
Yeah,
and
of
she
course,
probably,
definitely.
very briefly, Afrobeats. You should have an opinion on this because that's something I directly, you know, our team here at Channel 1 TV and Ghana Weekend, you know, where we also happen to work with, tipped, I think, Olive the Boy or somebody like that to be Afrobeats Artist of the Year. You think it's a fair shout?
I think so. I think so.
Absolutely amazing. So tonight will be where we get to see all of that, right?
Okay, yeah.
Amazing. But just finally, before you go again, if anybody wants to jump onto your music, where can they find?
Well, they can find my music on Audio Mac and Apple Music, and then Spotify as well, IG as I said, and then Facebook too. Yeah.
Amazing. You have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel. Yeah.
That's Curv_BG.
Curv_BG, yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming.
You
before you go, you want to give any shout outs to your team? Is Gardner here?
Yeah, Gardner is there.
He's in there somewhere, right?
Yeah, of course.
Aside him, who else? You know, everybody who's been really supportive.
Pro Benny, and then my sister there. I want to say, you know, they've been doing a great job. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
You heard there Curv, who's put out her music. She calls it 10th Up, and she says if you jump onto all of the streaming platforms, there are many more music, also some in the pipeline to be released pretty soon. But for now, we'll go back because Eno is ready to bring us a very important conversation.
Thank you very much, Jude. As you can see, we're in purple. And I don't know whether Curv knew that we're doing something related to purple because she has a bit of purple in her hair. So we're talking about lupus. It's Lupus Awareness Month. And the theme for this month is raising awareness, educating the public and taking action to support those affected. Do you know what lupus is? Have you heard about it? We're going to talk about it. We're going to discuss it. Tell us more about it, and then so that we can all be aware of what it is and how we can see the signs and symptoms of it. Joining me in studio for this discussion is Dr. Jifade. She's a consultant rheumatologist at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, and Nora Irene Gate, a patient advocate. Ladies, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us. Let's start from here. What is lupus?
Okay. So lupus is said to be a chronic autoimmune disease. I'll explain the various components of it. Chronic means that it's something that when you are diagnosed with, you're going to live with for the rest of your life, maybe. Autoimmune, maybe. Autoimmune means that your body is attacking itself. Auto is self, and it attacks the immune system. We call it lupus, which is a short form of a long word, systemic lupus erythematosus. The word lupus comes about because in the early days of this disease, people recognized that people who had this disease had some mark on their face, and the ancient people thought it looked like someone who had been scratched by a wolf. And so lupus is a Latin word meaning wolf. Okay, so a lot of analogy is ascribed to this disease. Some people call it wolf, some people call it a butterfly disease because of the characteristic butterfly rash they have. So it is a chronic autoimmune disease where the body attacks itself. We say it is a systemic autoimmune disease because it doesn't just attack only one organ. It can attack any organ in the body. So every part of the body can be attacked by the immune system. If I can quickly explain why this is important. So your immune system is designed by God to protect you from any foreign agent that comes in. But unfortunately for people who have autoimmune diseases, because of some particular thing that happens, the body is not able to recognize the parts of the body that belongs to itself. There are many reasons, scientific reasons for that. And so instead of protecting you as the body's soldiers, it sees a cell in the body and says, no, this is not part of me, and starts to attack it. That's interesting. And God has designed the immune system in such a way that once it thinks it's foreign, it will attack it until it's destroyed it. So once it attacks if it's attacking itself, it targets the eye, it will target it until it's destroyed. It targets the kidney, it will target it until it's destroyed. That's how devastating it is.
So it's through no fault of yours, no lifestyle change,
Not
nothing.
at all. So we know that it's two components, that people have genetic predisposition and then an environmental trigger. Genetic, I need to explain that because people hear it and think it's something that they inherit. Your genes determine who you are. It determines whether you have a big nose, you have a small nose or whatever. And that same gene determines diseases that you have or what diseases it will protect you from, and so many other varied things. So unfortunately for people who have autoimmune diseases, they are dealt with this card of genes that makes their immune system hyperactive. On normal days, it will not do anything. It is sitting there quietly, and then it comes and is provoked by something in the environment. And that provocation can be so varied. For some people, it's stress. So many stories of people whose disease started because of some emotional, financial stress. They lost a loved one, then this is what is triggered. Sunlight, certain chemicals, certain drugs can trigger some of these diseases to come as well. So it's a combination of a genetic and an environmental trigger. We know women are more likely to get it, meaning that the hormone estrogen is more likely to trigger it as well. And so that is one of the things that we look at very closely as one of the determinants of the disease as well.
What symptoms should I be looking out for?
What symptoms? So we mentioned earlier that it's a multi-system autoimmune disease, meaning it can attack every organ. Generally, a lot of people will present with fever, unexplained fever. So a lot of patients go around being treated for malaria and typhoid several times. If something like that is happening to you, ask whether you should be screened for an autoimmune disease. Unexplained weight loss, sweating, fevers at night, and then joint pains. For patients with lupus, they may also get this characteristic rash that we talk about, the butterfly rash that shows over the cheeks. So that might be you being lucky, and then somebody might spot that. But most of the time, what happens is, depending on the organ that is affected, then you may have those additional symptoms manifesting. If you have a young person who presents with a stroke, you need to think about something else that might be going on. Kidney problems, they may come with swelling of the face, swelling of the feet, that might signify kidney disease. If it's a joint that is affected, there's stiffness in the joints very early morning, especially the fingers, they may swell up. you must think that something else is going on. So these symptoms, the general things that we talked about, the fever, weight loss, joint pains, rash, and then depending on the organ that is affected, you may have those additional symptoms. Shortness of breath if it's affecting the heart, coughing if it's affecting the lungs, the kidney, swelling of the feet, the brain. People come with confusion. I've had people who come because they were sleeping 24 hours a day and somebody said, no, this is not normal. And then luckily for them, at least they have features that made the diagnosis a little easier.
If you're an advocate, how did you feel when you heard about it, when you were first diagnosed? What was going through your mind and how did it affect you?
My journey to diagnosis was, I think for me, it was pretty shorter than for most of the stories that I've heard for other patients. But then I started presenting symptoms of edema, that's swelling of the feet and then swelling of the face. And the doctor initially diagnosed me of post-streptococcal glomerulonephritis.
Oh, that's a mouthful.
I know, because he had earlier treated me for a respiratory infection.
Okay.
And he thought that that was what was causing it. So he referred me to a specialist. And we started investigating to find out what had caused it. On my own, I started researching about nephrotic syndrome. I thought it was something I could deal with. But when the results came, and then I found out that it was lupus, it was quite emotional because I was told that it was incurable. And for me, I thought I was too young to have my life disrupted like that. But the doctors reassured me that there are treatment methods to help me cope with that. How has lupus affected me, mind and body? Lupus itself, I think, affects the entire body. Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually even. And for me, I think that the physical symptoms are easy to show. The numbness, the swelling of the feet, the rashes, it's easier to detect and see. But what we tend to forget is the mental health impact of lupus. Particularly for me, I did not have a good relationship with my journey. I numbed myself through it. I thought I needed to get rid of this to get back on track with my life. And I developed a bad relationship towards it. I eventually started blaming myself for it because I researched and read about it, and then people write a lot of articles.
I know,
and then,
Google will tell you things you don't want to hear.
Yes. So I read about things like having COVID could trigger that, stress could trigger that. At the time, I think I was not sleeping well because I'd been introduced to hustle culture, and I thought that I'm young, I'm energetic, I need to use all my energy now. So I thought to myself, if I had not done all these things, I wouldn't have gotten it. And I found myself explaining to people what lupus was, and then subtly saying that I was doing everything that made me susceptible to getting lupus. And that had subconsciously been ingrained in my mind. So until I finally got out of lupus and got into remission. And because my life was so lupus-centered, I had to cut out people and cut out things that I thought were giving me stress instead of finding new ways to thrive within it and cope with it. After I got into remission the first time, I didn't know what to do because now there's no lupus. And I remember Dr. Day referred me to a psychologist, and then as we started unpacking things, I realized that I'd blamed myself for lupus and I'd been unfair to myself. So with regards to the mind, lupus has a lot of devastating effects, and depression can set in sometimes, yeah.
And how are you thriving? What would the journey been like after you were diagnosed and you realized that you don't have to blame yourself for it? How have you been thriving?
I'd say I use a lot of humor, community. I rely on community a lot, and then also stick to the doctor's plans. But it's been largely experimental, trying to figure out what your body accepts, what your body can handle, what your body cannot. It's been emotional, actually. Sorry.
That's fine. That's fine. Take your time.
Okay. So it's been quite emotional. It's been quite an emotional journey. So as I mentioned, it affects every part of your body, both mentally, physically, spiritually, and all that. And for me, I use humor a lot. So an example is people find me taking a lot of drugs, and then they ask me why I'm taking drugs. And I tell them I'm a drug dealer. Of course, after that, I do explain to them what I'm dealing with and why. But leaning on humor, I think helps me to tone down the effects, because people will talk, people will ask you questions. You tend to gain a lot of weight, and then people would make comments. And I find that it's important to develop a mental model, a positive mental model that would help you interact with things in your environment. Experiment a lot under the doctor's guidance, of course, and then lean into community. Right. So we have the Rheumatology Initiative with people with like-minded challenges, and then people who have gone through it, and you can learn from such people as well. But most importantly, pay attention to your body, and then don't copy anything you see on the internet that is working for someone. Just run it by your doctors first.
All right. Dr. Fuad, let's talk about the common treatments that are available to people once they're diagnosed.
Okay. So remember we said the immune system is what is attacking itself. So based on the constellation of symptoms and tests, and once the diagnosis is made, one of the things we do is to try and look at what spectrum it fits into. So even though we say lupus, not everybody is the same. Some people come with kidney disease, like Nora. Some people will come with joint problems. Some people will come with skin problems. So we need to tailor the treatment according to the severity of the disease and what organ is affecting. So we have drugs that suppress the immune system. So it's supposed to bring it down, because what is happening is the immune system is overacting and targeting organ, which is different from when people hear, they say, oh, immune system, they think about HIV, which is opposite. The immune system is actually low in that case. Here it's overactive, so we need to calm it down. So we use steroids as one of the drugs that we use to bring it down. That's what gives the big cheeks, and then everybody says that, congratulations, that's what I would say, because they think you are pregnant and so on. So steroids are a mainstay of treatment, but it also causes harm, so we have to try and take it off as much as possible. Then what we also do is to use other drugs. We call them immunosuppressive drugs, which bring the immune system down even further, or targeted areas. These drugs are very potent drugs. Some of them we borrow from chemotherapy, that's cancer drugs, to try and target certain parts of the immune system and bring it down. And these drugs have profound side effects, so we have to be monitored and treated carefully, but it has to be targeted so that it can protect the organ. If the kidney is involved, for example, and we don't give steroids, we don't treat within 6 weeks, most patients will end up on chronic dialysis or have chronic kidney disease. In fact, I transitioned from a nephrologist to a rheumatologist because I didn't see why I was seeing so many young girls coming with kidney problems at the renal unit. So I was like, oh, why? And I started reading about lupus. At that time, there was no rheumatologist and so on. But that's a story for another day. So it is important to target where the organ is affected. And we use those drugs, as well as the other things, diet, as Nora mentioned, psychological support. We need to look at lifestyle changes. There's no blame game here. You cannot determine what will trigger. So if you imagine that everybody in the family has a similar gene, why does somebody have lupus and the other one? It's not because of him. It's just a chance or luck that something comes to trigger it for that person. So we use that and then we determine it. If I can talk about the psychological aspect a little bit. When it comes to therapy, a lot of times we, as Noah said, focus on outside. When people have the butterfly rash, it's easy for people to see and hone in on that. But if you saw Nora, would you think she has any problem? No. She's a beautiful young girl, she's working. So that provides a lot of problems for them psychologically. First of all, this disease is unpredictable. One day you may have joint problem, the next day you may just suddenly collapse with a brain problem. So it provides a lot of anxiety when they understand this disease and what it can do. So they're living with anxiety. We look at the patient population we had at Kolebu, 60.4 of them have depression as part of their manifestation, and also the effects of the treatment. So if we do not focus on the other things that we should treat, apart from treating what the disease is doing, you end up with people who do not take medications, and then they'll come back with damage. You end up with people who cannot thrive or live with this disease. And we need to change that mindset about how we treat the body. That's not only the body, but the other things as well that we need to treat to make sure that the patients will thrive. And so that's why we have locally our team for Lupus Awareness Month as the mind and body harmony, how we can still thrive with lupus. Because we have people who are doing well with lupus. They are still working, they are doing their PhDs and so on. So it's a disease that can be life-threatening, but we can still treat and work and live with it.
I want to talk about what activities are in line for this month, but first I want to, if we don't know when it's going to attack us, what lifestyle changes are we making, or how do we make sure that, you know, we don't, get lupus?
So I always tell my patients that you think about lupus like a fire that is burning, right? To make sure that the fire doesn't burn out of control, you take your drugs, you do all the things you have to do to calm the fire down so that the chances of it sparking again is less. Okay. So yes, the fire is not completely gone forever because your immune system, you need it for other things, but you need to find ways to calm it to its barest minimum. So the treatments we've talked about, your diet and your lifestyle changes. You cannot completely use those to treat certain types of lupus. If you have kidney disease, you can't say, I'm using only diet. But diet is important. We know certain foods are anti-inflammatory that can help to bring inflammation down. Your nuts and your seeds, your fruits and your vegetables, those are helpful things. Your omega-3s, your vitamin Ds and your probiotics are helpful. So we encourage you to take that. Stress, it doesn't like stress. So you want to reduce it as much as possible. The hustle culture has to come down somewhere, somehow. So you want to sleep well, reduce your stress if you can. So those are also some ways in which you can reduce the probability of that fire coming back or out of control. So it doesn't go away, but you can keep it in check.
Does it affect fertility?
So lupus by itself doesn't affect fertility, okay? But if it is active, think about it as the body's protective mechanism, that if you are very sick, it doesn't want some additional problem for you to now add on to it. So usually when people have active disease, their hormones go out of control, their periods stop and so on. But once they are better, everything comes back to normal. Fertility itself is not affected. But when you get pregnant, we said pregnancy has to be planned when you have lupus. If you plan it properly, you are in remission. When Nora mentioned remission is the state where that fire is calmed down. It's not gone, but it's not causing active disease, and it can be on medication or without medication. So you're in remission, we are sure that things are fine, then you plan your pregnancy with your doctor and your gynecologist. Then your chances of success is like anybody else who has one. But if you are active, then obviously there will be more complications. Pregnancy comes with hormone changes, and this disease is driven by the hormones, as you mentioned earlier. And so yes, then pregnancy may cause more flare-ups, and then your chances of getting preeclampsia, hypertension, pregnancy, miscarriages are higher. But if it's planned, then your chances of pregnancy are almost the same as any other person.
So what activities are planned for the month? Who has to take it?
So locally we represent the Rheumatology Initiative, which is a charity we established about 12 years ago to deal with autoimmune diseases. So May obviously is Lupus Awareness Month. Our team this year is, as I mentioned earlier, mind and body harmony, because we want to focus on how to make our patients have hope that in thriving with lupus. So we are highlighting stories of people who've had this condition, but they are thriving. That doesn't mean that you lose your job. It doesn't mean that you can't do or have the aspirations or the dreams that you have. So we reduces this depression stories and things that we have. We're looking at ways in which we can help people do that, highlighting stories, doing our educational posts on social media, and coming to you, obviously. Thank you for having us. And then we also have plans for our support groups and other people. We are teaching them how to use art as therapy. So we have a sip and paint session tomorrow. You're invited. We have a journaling session because we want to teach people. It's a way of therapy. Write your thoughts out, see how. So we are doing a journaling session as part of the things we are doing over the course of the month as well, to teach people how to deal with the mental aspects of the disease.
Nora, how important is a support system when you're a person living with lupus or you were diagnosed? How important is a support system?
Thank you, Eno. So lupus can feel very lonely. Having lupus can cause you to isolate yourself, because for me, an example is I can't go into the sun without sunscreen. And as we all know, sunscreen is very expensive. So if you're invited out for events, you cannot show up. Sometimes you are in pain and then you cannot even go for family events, and you need to explain that I can't be there. So you tend to look as though you do not care enough. My friend puts it nicely as in inward looking, not selfish. You tend to be inward looking, and then you are sort of recluse from society, and that can be very lonely. Sorry.
That's fine.
Lupus people tend to have brain fog as well. So you can, forget the things you're talking about and all that. And that's part of some of the mental challenges that you have. And this is probably what is happening to me now. But then there's also new levels of, say, anxiety unlocked. You have a pain here and you're thinking, is this lupus affecting me or not? So the societal challenges that it comes with. But for me, being part of a community with like symptoms is very comforting, because you go into a session and everybody's talking about brain fog as if it's normal, and then you feel heard, you feel seen. You learn things on how to deal with pain. You learn things on how to thrive with lupus and actually decenter lupus from your life. There are interesting ways to pursue your purpose and find creative ways of actually chasing your dreams without and living beyond lupus, actually. So you chase your dreams and you find creative ways, learn from people, and you have a lot of doctors on the Rheumatology Initiative support group as well. So they tend to give you advice on what to do and what not to do as well.
That's
Thank you.
amazing. Any final words, ladies?
So, well, we encourage you to learn more about lupus. You can check us on our social media, the Rheumatology Initiative, or Try Ghana, TRI Ghana, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, to learn more about what we are doing. You can also join our fundraising drives to know how to. We support various organizations.
I'm sure donations are also welcome.
Exactly. So very, very much welcome, because running a support group, all of this needs income and so on. As well as we actually, because we know people are not diagnosed because even doctors do not know much about the disease. So one of the tasks we do as Rheumatology Initiative is try to even educate health professionals about this disease. So a lot of advocacy, a lot of work is needed. So we encourage all to join us. And above all, listen to what we've said. And if you notice someone has the symptoms, the earlier diagnosis, the better, before an organ damage occurs. If there's no organ damage, patients live just like everybody else. But if you wait until an organ damage, then you limit the lifespan of patients. So early diagnosis, education, and remember, this is not a contagious disease. It's not passed on, and everybody is at risk. Lupus doesn't know any boundaries.
Thank you so much. Do you have any final words?
Wear purple and take a picture, post it, #purple for lupus, #glow, #try. And support us financially, because the financial impacts of lupus cannot be underestimated, especially because it's not covered under the NHIS. And lab costs over 1,000 cedis, averagely on a monthly basis. Drugs cost as much as 6,000 cedis. So please donate, and it'll go a long way to support someone living with lupus.
So you said try the website?
Try TRI Ghana. Try Ghana.
Try Ghana. Okay. All right. All right. So this conversation will be posted on YouTube, so you can go and refer to it, learn more about lupus and the consequences, speak to people, and seek early treatment, because, as she said, early diagnosis would save a life. Thank you for joining us. We'll be right back after this. Don't go away.
Ghana Traditional Council, on behalf of the entire Ghana state, announces the annual ban on drumming and noise-making as part of the sacred rites leading to the Hemorrhoids Festival.
Ghana mamu, timfe anali, atese, imlae ni ko wama dumo, wongmehe, wakusuni, wakabachuni,
The ban across the Ghana state will take effect from Monday, May 12th to Thursday, June 12th, 2025. However, Osu, La, Teshi, Nungwa, Tema, Boom, Pram, and Ningo traditional areas will observe their bans separately, with dates to be announced by their various councils. During this period, all visitors are required to comply with the following regulations. Religious activities to be confined within premises without the use of external loudspeakers, no drumming, clapping, or use of musical instruments in public places, no roadside evangelism or street preaching with loudspeakers. There will be no funeral or burial ceremonies within this period up until the 20th of June 2025. This practice is not only a cultural tradition, but also protected under the 1992 Constitution of Ghana, ensuring the preservation of our customs and identity. A dedicated task force, in collaboration with the Regional Security Council, Metropolitan, Municipal and District Assemblies, as well as the Ghana Police Service, will strictly enforce compliance. We urge all residents, institutions and visitors to respect this sacred tradition as we uphold our cultural heritage and foster social harmony. Nyacha, New Manyaba.
Yo fam, it's that time again. Finals. Oh yeah. Go TV, let's go. Finals. Go TV, this is too big. The Premier League, La Liga, Champions League, FA Cup, Europa, and more. Finals. Stay connected to catch all the biggest football finals with your best football friend. Go TV, love it.
You're welcome back to Breakfast Daily Weekend right here on Channel 1 TV with me, Inu Safo. We're wearing purple for Lupus Month awareness. Don't forget to join in with the hashtag Lupus Month. Also mental health, because they also wear purple. It's also Mental Health Awareness Month. Jude is also wearing his purple. Some of your messages that came in. Good morning. You guys look good on set. Well, the city appreciation has not reflected in food prices here in Gumwa Ojobio. Talking about yam prices, due to the fact that I don't recall the last time I ate yam. Things they've caused, Charlie. The traders are just not just. Happy Earth Strong Day to Miss Akoto from Spintex. God bless you for multiplying grace today. Love and respect. And this is coming from your sister here at Channel 1 TV. Joining us is Yao.
Hello.
Going to talk about sports.
Yep.
What up?
Oh, cool.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing very well.
Great.
Yeah, this week has been good. A lot of exciting games in the lead up to today. In the Champions League, in the Europa League, in the Conference League, because Jude's Chelsea played in the Conference League. They made it to the final. They will take on Real Betis. In the Europa League, Man United moved on to the final. They will take on Tottenham Hotspur. So that's a big win for the EPL. Two EPL teams competing in the Europa League final. That will be on May 21. The Conference League will be on May 28. And yeah, in the Champions League, Inter Milan and PSG qualified to the UEFA Champions League final at the expense of Arsenal and Barcelona. So yeah, our brother Thomas Partey missed out on playing in the Champions League final, but it's all good. I'm here to talk about the EPL for this weekend. I mentioned Thomas Partey. His Arsenal team will be in action later tomorrow, but today, the first game that will bring to you live on City 97.3 FM is that matchup between Southampton and Manchester City. Southampton, they've already been relegated from the EPL, but as you know, there are 3 more games to go, and so they will have to compete for academic purposes. Then we'll bring you, later in the day, we'll bring you that matchup between AFC Bournemouth and Aston Villa. Mind you, today's games start at 2 p.m. Today's game starts at 2 p.m. and we'll give you the build-up starting from 1:30 p.m. on City 97.3 FM. Then we'll dive into the Sunday games, and Sunday games have a lot of tasty matchups. The first game starts at 11 a.m. and it involves Juice Chelsea taking on Newcastle, and that's a straightforward battle for a place in the Champions League, qualification to the Champions League, because both teams are contending for a place in the Champions League, and that should be a very tasty one. Then we'll have that matchup between West Ham and Manchester United. We'll see how Manchester United...
So whoever wins at St. James automatically or...
I think you give yourself about 60% of chance of qualifying to the Champions League. Yeah, so it's a straightforward battle. But with Chelsea, they also have another game against Nottingham Forest on the final day, which will also prove tricky because Nottingham Forest are also in the race or in the hunt for a place in the Champions League, and so that should be a tasty matchup in the upcoming weeks. And on Sunday, after the Man United West Ham game, then there's also Tottenham Hotspur Crystal Palace. Then there's that matchup between Liverpool and Arsenal to round up the day, and that takes place at 3 p.m. on Sunday. So yeah, Liverpool, they've won the Premier League title, but they will still have to see out the rest of the games. And yeah, unlike last week where I honestly didn't think that they would beat Chelsea, and they didn't end up beating Chelsea, they lost to Chelsea. In this game, I'm confident that they will beat Arsenal. I just don't see them losing in front of the Anfield folks. I just don't see them losing in front of the Anfield folks. I think they have this pride and joy that they play with whenever they are playing in front of the cup. And so, yeah, I think that would be more than enough for them to get a win over a deflated Arsenal, looking at how things went down in the Champions League. So that's the wrap on the EPL this weekend.
Sucking us. But join us on Sunday. Tomorrow's Mother's Day. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow bright and early, 7 a.m. Mwah.
Bye.
What's cooking? You are very welcome to the show where we stir up delicious meals.
So who's Lali and who's Lola?
Okay, should we call